The inevitable is now reality. Sam Darnold is now the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. And yes, folks, we are indeed live. Liv and Kelly here on the Sports Talk Nation. Michael Cohen here with you. I know it's been a while. It's been kind of an inconsistent month here this year, especially with the training camp previews. We've only done divisions this year. Kind of a crazy work schedule, but we will have a full preview of the NFL. We'll go through all the division standings at that point later on this week, and I also got some baseball stuff I want to do later on. But today, we got a special podcast here in the Sports Talk Nation because the New York Jets... Oh, the New York Jets. Always a team that is willing to embark on lots of headlines, and maybe for the first time in a very long time, maybe for the good this time. But the Jets are in the headlines for a couple of reasons. One, the New York Jets have traded Teddy Bridgewater to the New Orleans Saints for a third-round pick. Now, this is really not surprising, folks. This was coming down the pike no matter what. I know there are a lot of fans who are upset because they wanted Teddy Bridgewater to be the starting quarterback of this team, but that is not going to happen. Now, according to Rich Cimini of ESPN, the Jets trading Bridgewater to the New Orleans Saints and a sixth-round pick to the Saints for a third-round pick. So that is what the Jets get in return for this pick. And what does that do, folks? That paves the way. It paves the way, clears. It's like the Red Sea parting for Sam Darnold to become the starting quarterback. Now, probably would have been named the starting quarterback anyway, even if Bridgewater was still on the team, but still, it is obvious, it's been obvious, that this is the direction the Jets have been going in. I had thought for a while that Josh McCown was going to lurk in the weeds here, and that Todd Bowles would go back with McCown since he is like comfort food. This is because of the strategy that he used last year by not playing McCown at all in weeks 2 and 3 of the preseason, and now he goes ahead, then went ahead to name McCown the starter last year. I thought the same thing might happen this year, but it was not the case. So we're going to break this down for the next few minutes. I'm joined by a very special guest, and that is a co-writer, if you will, a co-host, if you will, on the 24/7 sports network that is covering the New York Jets. This led by Rick Laughlin, but we don't have Rick Laughlin on today. We do have second best, if you will. I'm only kidding. That's Dan Feuerstien. Dan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Michael. The news coming in fast and furious, obviously, because listening to Ian Rappaport from NFL.com on one of those videos on NFL Network as well, that Bridgewater was already on the bus traveling with the rest of the team to Philadelphia for the final preseason game tomorrow.
And guess what?
The bus was stopped, and then all of a sudden, the member of the Jets got on that bus and to inform Mr. Bridgewater that you have been traded to New Orleans.
Get off the bus! Get off the bus! Get out!
Well, hey, listen, let me say this right now, to Mr. Teddy Bridgewater,
yes.
It was a lot of fun watching him perform these 3 preseason games out there because, that knee of his that got destroyed, pulverized, I understand is the correct terminology.
Right.
That he may not, that was probably a career-ending injury.
That's what they said. It was supposed to be career-ending, career-threatening injury. I mean, I think I vaguely remember them talking about like amputation, that was possible. I mean, that's how crazy that injury was. And he hadn't played for 2 whole years, came back at the end of last year for the Vikings, didn't play, and now had a chance this year. And look, he played well. I mean, don't give him a lot of credit. He did a nice job here. I know it was preseason games, have to deal with second-teamers and third-teamers in preseason games, but he did a nice job, made a case for the starting job. But to me, when I look at Bridgewater, I looked at the financials of his contract. He was only guaranteed $500,000. It would increase to $9 million if he had played. There was no way the Jets were going to pay that and then pay another $10 million to Josh McCown at the same time. So, to me, there was no way that Teddy Bridgewater was going to stay here. Now, between you and me, Dan, I don't know how you feel about this. I would have maybe waited a little bit for someone to be really desperate. And, Denver's desperate right now. Buffalo's desperate. Even even the Eagles may be desperate at some point if Wentz's injury lingers into the season. I would have waited a little bit. I wouldn't have rushed to just go ahead and trade him before this fourth preseason game. I would have waited until at least after week 1 to maybe make a deal. But still, if the Jets feel the best they can get as a third rounder, then that's exactly what they were able to accomplish here with the Saints.
And you know what? I agree with you, Michael, because I really thought that the Jets should have held on to Bridgewater. Listen, it was only a one-year deal, just a one-year deal. Excuse me. And, when you have a one-year deal, well, I had to.
Okay.
With a one-year deal, basically, it's everything's up for grabs. You let Bridgewater start the season, see what you're going to do with him, see what could happen. Maybe you might have a decent year, but you know what? If you're going to trade him before the trading deadline came along, then so be it. And then that's when other teams were desperate for a quarterback. And then you threw in Sam Darnold. But you know what? It makes a lot of sense because the Jets want to start this now. Mm-hmm. They feel that he's good enough. He's ready. He's good enough to go out there. He has proven at the moment that he didn't really make any stupid throws. B, he never really showed any happy feet. C, he had plenty of poise in the pocket. When he had to throw the ball away, he threw it away. Yeah. When he knew he was going to get sacked, he didn't try to rush a throw. He held the ball, took the sack, and down he went. That's another positive thing because he lived another down.
Right.
Also, he knew when to make a run for it for the first down marker, and after he got the first down, he slid down to avoid being hit. Sam Darnold right now, in my opinion, Michael, is that he has already shown that he has enough savvy and enough poise and enough pocket presence to know what to do and what not to do. And I think that's a big thing when you see a rookie like this coming out of college right away. And now, as you've already stated, what we already know, he is the starting quarterback of the New York Jets.
And let's hope we can say that for 17 years, because we haven't been able to, instead of 7 minutes, which has been the case for the Jets over the last, 50 years, this guy is a franchise guy. This guy's a franchise guy. Mark Sanchez is, Neil Donald, and then we go to, before that you got Glenn Foley for 5 seconds, and Vinny, and then Chad Payne. It goes on and on and on with the Jets with the quarterback situation. But let's just hope for the sake of the franchise, this is the end of that search, and that Darnold can be that savior. I'm not going to sit here and say, he's going to be Peyton Manning, he's going to be Tom Brady. I'm not going to be that idiot that's going to do that. Let's see what he can be here. I will say this. I have been very impressed by his pocket presence. Now, from what I remember when he was at USC was that a lot of people talked about his ability to escape out of the pocket, but from what I saw, that there were times where he would force the ball down the field, it would get picked off. But I haven't seen that here in the NFL, and granted it is against defenses that are showing vanilla schemes right now in the preseason, but I like his ability to escape out of the pocket. I like you brought up, his ability to run, slide for first downs. Mark Sanchez, if you're listening on the unemployment line, that means you. Slide for first downs, and the ability to make plays on the run. And that's important, especially when you have a team that, let's be honest, isn't that great around him right now.
No, it's not. And that's the one thing that the Jets still need to do. They still need to build an offensive line around him. I think they have plugged some holes. There's still some holes that needs to be filled at the same time. But at the moment, I think they have done some work on the offensive line. More needs to happen, obviously. But once again, I think they have filled a few holes here and there. More needs to happen. The wide receiver core looks pretty solid. Running back still seems a little murky at the moment. Tight end is still a bit of a question mark. But other than that, look, you're expecting a lot of pitfalls. You're expecting a lot of bumps and bruises. And, there's no turning back now. Mm-hmm. This is your franchise quarterback, whether, some people want to hear it or not. Sam Darnold right now is the starting quarterback of the New York Jets. And right now, what he's going to have to look for are ways to find a way to defeat the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football for Week 1. To, take on the Miami Dolphins at home to start the home schedule in Week 2. And then quickly, Week 3, make a quick trip to take on Baker Mayfield if he is the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. That would be a hell of a matchup, wouldn't it, on Thursday Night Football that everyone would love to see.
Well,
Baker Mayfield
are you saying that
Sam Darnold.
Are you saying that Jets-Browns is actually something that people are going to watch? I don't believe this!
Yes!
What the hell is going on here?
Only if the Browns pick him to be the starting quarterback for their team.
Well, can I cool your Jets? No pun intended. It's probably going to be Tyrod Taylor, but still. Still, it will be a tough schedule. I mean, that's why I thought there was a strong possibility that McCown was probably going to be the starter because of that early schedule where the Jets are on the road 3 times in the first 4 weeks, 3 games in the first 10 days of the season. Especially going to Detroit, going to Cleveland, hosting Miami, and then going all the way down to Jacksonville in Week 4, which I'll be honest with you is not a game I think anybody is looking forward to right now. And look, I have concerns about the Jaguars. They lost one of their receivers for the season with a knee injury. I'm not a big Blake Bortles guy, but that defense is scary ass good, and that's going to be rough. That's going to be a rough game for Sam Darnold. That will be
absolutely, Michael. That's going to be a rough game with that defense.
Yeah, if there's one game where Darnold's going to have 4 picks, that might be the game. That might be it.
And that's fine because, look, I mean, right now, what's the concern now? You just want to make sure that he's ready for being a starting quarterback in the National Football League, the league where they pay to play. And, you know, this is what you're expecting from him now. You're expecting Sam Darnold to go out there and to lead this offense and to lead the Jets and to give everyone a feel-good moment that, you know, if he's going to be the one to hand off the ball to Bilal Powell, throwing the ball a couple of times to Terrell Pryor Sr., Quincy Enunwa coming back into the fold, and some of the other weapons that hopefully that the Jets will be ready for. Who knows? McBride might be ready to go out there to surprise a lot of people. Sharon Peake probably deserves an opportunity to start as a wide receiver.
Well, not all are, but yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, we'll say. I mean, look, the Jets' depth at wide receiver is very good. I think that's the one strength they have offensively is their receiving core. Don't forget Charles Johnson could come into the mix as well. I mean, some of these guys we mentioned might end up getting cut because it's just too many tough decisions the Jets have to make in the next 10 days before the season starts. But I think that am I kind of surprised? The only thing that surprises me is that Bridgewater gets traded. I'm not totally surprised about the naming of the starter. I think it's good. I think it's good for the franchise to know going into this 4th preseason game, you know who your starter is. Because if they had gone into the Thursday game, not making an announcement, let's say Josh McCown starts the game tomorrow and plays a series, then the question is, okay, who are you starting, McCown or Bridge or Darnold? And that would have been a discussion for like 5-6 days going into the week. You don't need that. Get this done with now. So now you have an extra day now because they're preparing for the Lions right now. Who cares about what happens tomorrow? They've already started their preparations for Detroit today. Now they're ready to go.
No, absolutely, and that's the one thing right there, Michael, is that this is just a preseason game. Maybe you have McCown thrown a little bit. You probably have Wolford playing the whole game now.
Oh yeah,
who's now the 3rd stringer. Right now, this is it. You know, whoever's going to fight for whatever jobs are remaining, they're going to fight for those jobs, whatever's remaining. Outside of that, you know what? Get ready for Monday Night Football because it's going to be on. It's going to be live, and can't wait to see what Darnold will do against the Detroit Lions at Ford Field. A very tough place to play for a visiting team.
Very, very tough. And, you know, it's also the first game. It'll be the first game for their new head coach, Matt Patricia, of course, the former Patriots defensive coordinator. That's going to be another layer to this because he is a defensive guy, and that's a team that really has had issues defensively over the last couple of years. And we all know what they can do offensively with Matt Stafford. It will be a challenge for the Jets especially for a guy like Darnold to go up against a Patricia coach defense with all the different schemes and blitzes they used up in New England. Now they're going to do it with the talent that he has there in Detroit. That's going to be a very interesting layer going into that football game on Monday night.
It will be, but all I can say is that this is it, Michael.
This is it?
This is what we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, you're right. It's no turning back right now. No turning back at all because they now have a chance with a young quarterback who has potential to do something very good here over the next few years to make a lot of big things happen. And I hope it works out for him. I hope it works out for this franchise. I really do. And like I mentioned before, it's been so long since this team's had anything good to talk about. And whenever we talk about the Jets, it's about coaches getting fired. It's about players not playing well. It's about
You're talking about coaches.
Oh, stop. It's the world. Everyone talks about the same thing. It isn't just me. Hey, folks, just because that I have a history with this guy, Dan Feuerstien, of talking about all the bad things that have happened with the Jets. I have known this guy going back to the start of the Rex Ryan, or the middle of the Rex Ryan era, when everything started to go downhill. So let's keep in mind where we're coming from. The end of the poison that was the Rex Ryan era. with Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow and Geno Smith. Oh my goodness, the mess that was. And now we have a chance. There's some light at the end of the tunnel. And maybe,
it's time to go. It's time to see what Darnold can do. It's time to see him for what he is, a franchise quarterback that we hope will be the one to go out there and to do things that we hope, as many Jet fans want to see him go out there and do his best.
You want the theme? You want the Monday Night theme right now?
Go for it.
There you go. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this.
You will.
Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, Dan, I want to thank you, man, for joining me. Always a pleasure. Now, folks, I want to just close this out just with a few final thoughts. I'm going to borrow a old saying that former Giants head coach Jim Fossil used a long time ago when he was talking about his football team back in 2000 when the Giants were struggling and they were trying to turn the season around. And he talked about putting all the chips on the table, moving it to the front of the table, and he's all in. And he's going to try to turn that team around and get moving in. He eventually did, and that Giant team went on to the Super Bowl. They lost that Super Bowl to the Ravens. But that's what Bowles and McCagnon are doing here, essentially, is they're moving all their chips to the front of the table here with Sam Darnold. There's no waiting anymore. The waiting game is over. They feel, their coaches feel, offensive coordinator Jeremy Bates feels that Sam Darnold can handle what is going to be a much different avenue than preseason football, like I said, with vanilla defenses. We'll see how it works out. Now, I have liked what I've seen at times from Darnold. I haven't liked everything I've seen from Darnold in preseason games. There's things that can certainly be improved upon. I would love to see them throw the ball a little more downfield when the regular season begins. I'm sure we'll see that. They certainly have the weapons to do it. But one thing that Dan brought up and is very true, the guy's been accurate. He has made smart decisions on the run. He has made plays with his legs. He has done everything the Jets could ask of him, a 21-year-old kid, at this point in his career as a rookie. So I think in a lot of ways, the sky's the limit. You don't know what the future may hold with this kind of player. Knowing the Jets' past, it's easy to be cynical, but the hope is that they can begin to rewrite what has been a history of nightmares for that franchise for far too long. So the Sam Darnold era is now officially beginning, and that Monday night game, as Dan alluded to, and I will allude as well, that Monday night game against Detroit now has a lot more interest than it did just a few weeks ago with the idea that maybe a Josh McCown would start the game. Not the case. It will be Sam Darnold's team starting on September the 10th. All right, folks, remember to follow us again on the social media at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram, and of course, right here on the Sports Talk Nation. Like and subscribe for more videos, to look at past videos and stay on top of the next videos that are coming. As I said, we'll do some NFL preview stuff very soon in the next couple of days, and we will also jump back into the baseball as well. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Talk to you next time. Bye.